everyone. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Isn't that what they say? Happy Friday. It is. Okay, so we started on this blue jean jacket, this denim jacket, a couple of days ago. And then I got busy. We weren't able to finish it on the first one, so I said I would try to get back on here Thursday. Well, I forgot. My brother had surgery that I had to be there for. Had to get him there Wednesday for another stent in his leg, and his leg is doing much better, so it doesn't, they thought they were going to have to amputate, but it doesn't look like they're going to have to. It is getting better, so we've got a couple more surgeries that we've got to do, but anyway, so I did not get to come on here Thursday, so here I am today. All right, I am Pam Savage, if you're wondering who this funny woman is, funny looking woman, I guess, but anyway, I am Pam Savage, owner of Young at Heart Creations. I love it when you come in here and join me and we just chat and paint and see what we can do. Let me get you pulled up over here so I can hopefully see comments. Sometimes Mr. FB cooperates and sometimes he doesn't. So be the first to say hello. It looks like we've got 4 on. So be the first to say hello and we can see if everything's working right. It is a cloudy, rainy, stormy day. Hasn't been stormy right now, just a little bit north of us, but here in North Texas, I am about 15 minutes from the Oklahoma line, and it is, I almost was afraid to do the live because, oh no, it's going to start storming and the internet's going to go down, but it's just cloudy and yucky. But anyway, the hummingbirds are eating their stuff right outside my window, so they're happy. So let's see what we can do. I've got a lot of detailing to do on the flower, but I've got a little bumblebee right up here that I'm going to go ahead. Hi, Sally. Hi, Jacqueline. That I'm going to go ahead and paint first because we're going to do some dotting and things on this flower that are going to take a little while to dry, and it'll be a little bit harder to kind of wrap my arm down around that and without rubbing my hand across them. So we're going to at least get this bee base coated. Let me bring you down. Say hello when you come in. And hi, Janelle. Let me know, especially if you're a newbie, so we can all welcome you onto my page. I'm a little hoarse today still from all the allergies. Poor Mr. Pam has had a terrible time with allergies. Terrible time. The wind has just been so bad the last 2 months here, and it's got everybody's allergies all stirred up. So on fabric, I use, typically I'll use fabric paint, but sometimes I want a color that they don't have it in the fabric paint. So I just use regular acrylic paint. Deco Art is usually what I use. Sometimes I'll have a different brand, and I mix it with fabric, Americana Fabric Medium. And it's 2 parts paint with 1 part medium. So I just mix it up in something that I have over here. But you can mix it in just about anything you want. You just want to make sure you get it mixed to where it's a little bit drippy. If you were to turn it up, it would run. So, but you don't want it watery. So you'll see as we go along. So I'm going to do let's see, let me think on this, how I want to do this. We're going to do the wings in a little bit of a white and gray, I think. So let's go ahead and get the yellow on it. So I want to do a white base coat first. White base coat under everywhere that's going to be yellow. It just helps that yellow show up better and gives you a base to work with so that your yellow's not soaking through the fabric. And I even do that on wood. Anytime I'm going to use yellow, I usually do some kind of a base coat. Hi, Miss Heather. Hello. And let's see what brush I want to use. Didn't really think all this out. Okay, I'm going to use a round, and I use all different brushes on it. I like a little bit stiffer bristle but sometimes you don't always have that. So what I'm going to do first is before I get started on that, let me show you how I put the pattern on. I have a little bee pattern. Now this I just kind of freehanded, but I have a little bee pattern here, and I have some yellow graphite paper. You may be used to just seeing the graphite paper in the gray or black, but they have it in all colors. They have yellow, white, orange, blue, just about any color you want, and you can get it on Amazon. I'm going to put the shiny side down, so I just put my bee on here, slid that underneath. I used a stylus and just traced around it. So that's how I got that on there. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put one here, another one over here on the other side or up the top. So that's why I haven't traced another one on. But we're going to do some other things down here. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm just going to outline these wings a little bit so it'll make it easier to see where I'm going with them. Okay. We're right over that ridge, that seam. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do, because we're going to have yellow on his body. And I will just do it all in yellow after I get the base coat on here. I'm not going to do white on his head because we'll have, that's going to be done in black and it'll do fine. Okay, so now I'm going to get one of my little bit stiffer bristle brushes, and I've used them a ton. This one doesn't even really have a shape anymore of an angle, but I've used them on lots of fabric and a ton of hats. I did over 100 hats, and so these little brushes have been my best friends, but I have put them through a lot. Now I got my brush damp, but not wet. I got it damp and then wiped it off. And I'm going to put probably 2 coats of the white on. Maybe, we'll see. On the wings, I really don't care if they're a little bit transparent. I actually want them to look a little transparent. So what is everybody doing on this Friday? We have a big youth event at our church tonight and tomorrow, so we'll be going to that to help out with that and hear the speaker. And it's just always so encouraging to see so many kiddos at a church event. And you think, okay, all is not lost. There are still some that believe and are seeking God. Very, very encouraging. Okay, I think I'm just going to do one of that, and then I'm going to go over it a little bit with some gray. Get it just dry enough so the gray will stick to it. Hi, Roxy. You've got your granddaughter. Alrighty. I can say that soon when we get our new little granddaughter. Well, I say soon. It'll be probably in September. Okay, that's not dry, but for time's sake on the live, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of that gray on there. And I'm going to use another, well, no, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to mix it in a little bit with a little bit of white on there and just mix some of that gray in. Okay, cover up there on that seam. I keep wanting to call it a ridge. But anybody that sews is probably going, it's not a ridge, it's a seam. So I've got some of that gray, a little bit of the white mixed in. And that will also help us separate the wings from the body, with it being just a little bit different color than that white when we go to put some stripes and stuff on it. Okay, I'm just covering up my where I outlined with that round brush. A little bit of highlight in the middle there. Okay, and I think that is fine. I'll wash my brush out. Dry it just a little bit, then we'll go ahead and put some white in the body. We'll do some curly cues or something on the wings, but we're going to do a little bit of shading on it. Right now, let me turn it around and show you. It looks like it's going to be a face with some sunglasses on. But it's not. It's a bee with wings, but it does look like it could be sunglasses. Okay, so let's get some white on there. There we go. Couldn't find my brush. Hey, Lisa. Well, glad to have you. Glad you're back on here. I went for quite a while without going live. We had so much going on in our lives with selling our home, moving to a new home, trying to get it ready before moving in, and then lots of things after we moved in. My brother has had several surgeries, almost lost his leg, and so I was having to care for him. And just could not find time to go live, or when I was here and had time, I was so exhausted from everything else going on. I just didn't have it in me. So I'm trying to catch up. Okay, let me get that little round brush back out here and put some white up in here with that. This one is a very soft bristled brush, and it is a little harder for me anyway with these softer bristle ones on the fabric. And then we'll do a little bit of shading on the wings while this is drying. That'll help our yellow stripes to show up a little better. And we'll do yellow and then go over it with black stripes. Okay, so I'm going to add just a little bit of black to that gray. To get a little bit darker gray. To shade his wings in. Okay, and let's shade with a good old angle brush. Now, is there anybody that has not painted on fabric because you're a little bit afraid of it? You've wanted to, but you've just been a little bit anxious about it? Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of water. And I'm just going to shade the bottom part of the wing. We'll highlight the top of it. So I'm putting a little bit of water on there just to help it float across. The technique that we're doing is called floating. It'll be shading if it's darker than your base coat color. Called highlighting if it's lighter. But the technique is floating. You'll hear it called shading. The technical term is floating. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit there. And let's put some water on this side. Shading adds a lot to your piece, no matter what you're working on, wood, fabric, anything. Shading really adds a lot of pretty detail to it. I'm having a paint party, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, here in my home, and we'll be practicing some shading. I've got a little exercise for them that we're going to work on. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing up here, but with some white. And I'm just dipping my brush into the water and just getting it a little damp. I don't want the water just running all over it. Just enough to help the paint float across it. Okay, so I'm putting just a little bit of white up here. Give it a little bit of highlight. There we go. Okay, let's dry this. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do it here. But you know what? We can work it in. I was meant to do that on the body, not the wing. But we'll fix it like it was never there. There we go. Okay, let's dry it just a little bit. If I don't dry it and I try to put that yellow on, it's just going to mix in with that white. Okay, so Janelle says that she has not painted on fabric because she's been a little intimidated with it. And it is a little, because you know, it's, if you're trying to work on a piece and you go, man, I messed up. It's hard to correct, harder to correct a boo-boo or a happy little accident on fabric than it is wood. You know, it's just different. But what I would suggest, Janelle, is that you take something old that you don't care if you mess up on it. Go to Goodwill and get some some old clothes. You know, sometimes you can find things for a couple bucks or whatever there. Or anything that's not real expensive, and practice on it before you do an actual piece that you're wanting to sell or give as a gift. And I've done that. I've practiced on some old t-shirts, some old sweatshirts, because every different fabric takes the paint differently, and you need to kind of get the feel of those different fabrics. But it is really fun. I really enjoy it. It took me a while to get used to it, but once I realized, hey, putting a base coat down first of white for the lighter colors and letting it dry, that's the big thing. A lot of people don't let it dry good in between coats, and that makes it harder. But once you get a good dry base coat, that kind of gives you a little canvas to paint on. So that's what I suggest, is just get some old blue jeans or something that you'll never wear anymore. Hey, and it may turn out you love it and you will wear it, but something that you don't mind messing up if it doesn't work out the first time. But that's what I would suggest, is practice on something that you're not treasured. You know, it's not something you're going to wear and you're going to be upset if you messed it up. Because I think you will love it once you do it. You know, you can get cheap little canvas bags and things like that at Hobby Lobby, and just practice on some things like that. I love shading on material. It just seems to flow a little easier. All right, let's go with some yellow on that body so that all I've got to do, I don't have to do yellow stripes and then black stripes. I'm just going to do it yellow and then go over it with some black stripes. I think that'll be a little easier. Now, if I had not put that white down, we would have to do probably 5 or 6 coats of this yellow. But with this white down, we'll probably be able to get away with 2. And one thing I do want to warn you about when you're using fabric paint, I will say this hopefully every time I'm painting on fabric. Fabric paint, depending on the color and the brand, is very stringy, like spaghetti. You pull it up and it just doesn't want to let go. So I just kind of twirl it and make it break, because if you get busy and you're not paying attention and you don't do that, it's going to string across your project that you're painting, and it can cause you a lot of headache. Okay, we're going to dry this and then put one more coat on it. And once we get the black on there, that'll really make him start looking like a bumblebee. This would also make a perfect ladybug. If we wanted to do a ladybug, we could have done that as well. You have to be patient with the fabric. You do want it good and dry. Now, it's not going to be cured. You want to let it cure for like 72 hours after you've painted it. And then I always put it in the dryer after it's dry, completely dry and cured. I put it in my clothes dryer on high heat for about 10 minutes to heat set it, and then I let it cool really well. And then I will put fabric Mod Podge over it, and usually I do it under it too. Okay, I think that's plenty on that. Let's go ahead and dry it again. Then we'll start on our black. Okay, so I'm going to take my little liner brush again. This is a much smaller round than we used the first time. So I'm going to use it just to outline. I'm going to get some black out. Okay, so some black, and I'm just going to put enough on here. I'll make sure it breaks that string. And I want to outline where my head's going. Okay, and then we're going to have the little antennas, whatever you want to call them. And even with black, most of the time you'll have to put a second coat on it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and outline here. Just like a coloring book. It's easier if you outline to not get out of line and see where you need to fill it in. Now I'm not going to fill in with this brush because it's a soft brush and it would take me forever. But I am going to outline the wings. And I don't care if they're super dark outlining, but it just cleans it up a little bit. And on this denim, it helps it to show up a little better. Y'all saw the planter that I posted, the sewing machine stand with the tub on top of it. We already have one, and I decided we needed one in the other corner. So we got busy and found what we needed online. And we got it all put together. I've got to paint the wood frame. On it, but we got it all ready. We were going to take it to the backyard because we did it in our garage. And let me tell you, that thing with no dirt in it, that thing is heavy. So I could not budge it. So we're gonna figure out how to get it back there. Probably gonna try to use the dolly. But I thought I would already have some plants in it by now. And then when you start trying to do that, and then you get tickled and start laughing, and you can't get anything done, and you get so tickled, you're like, okay, I'm gonna wet myself if you don't if you don't stop. I'm getting way too tickled. Okay, let's dry that just a little bit. Hi, Gina. How are you, friend? Is it rainy and gloomy where you are? Okay, let's get some paint on his head first. You'll see me doing a circular motion a lot of times when I'm doing the fabric, especially denim, just to kind of work it down in the fabric. And some of this fabric paint, even though it says matte finish, will sometimes dry with a little bit of a gloss sheen to it. Okay, let's dry that and put a second coat on it. Pretty day there. Well, I'm hoping we get some sunshine soon. It was sunny yesterday for the second half of the day. My plants are kind of drowning. Okay, that's dry enough for a second coat. Now you can have the bee facing you and do a little face on it, but this is going to be the back of the bee. Okay, I'm going to let that brush sit in the water for just a minute since it's got that black on it. Black's kind of hard to get out of the brush, so it's kind of good to let it soak a minute. Okay, let's put our black stripes on him. And we'll just kind of go with this pattern. This little pattern that I've got. I don't even know where I got it. But we'll just kind of go with it and just kind of eyeball it. Now, one thing I will show you, if you're not comfortable just eyeballing it, take you some chalk. I use chalk a lot. A lot. And just kind of draw where you think you're going to want it. And then you can just draw your pattern on like that. Okay, so, but I'm just going to freehand it. Going to outline it first. Okay, so there's the first one. Now you can also do it in pencil. And then we'll fill it in with a little bit stiffer brush. Okay, so that's the placement of them. Now I'm going to get a little bit stiffer, one of these stiffer ones. We'll see if this one's a little stiffer. It's just a little tiny little angle brush. Put a coat on and then put a second coat on. And we could also make him look fuzzy. Really, with stripes, doesn't really matter how you put them on. He's gonna, you get that yellow and black together, he's gonna look like a bumblebee. Sometimes you have to come back from a different direction to get that fabric texture to fill in, for your paint to fill in. All right, let's try that, put a second coat. Really should have curved these lines up a little more, but it's fine. I'm good with it. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Miss Peggy. You're not too late. We're just getting started. Got a lot to do on our flower, but I wanted to go ahead and do the bee first. I may end up putting a second bee up here on the shoulder area. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so let's put a little bit of a second coat on these. And again, I don't care if they look a little fuzzy around the edges. Okay, let's take some white. And see if we can do some little curly cues. Brushes are going everywhere. Okay, let me see. I had a round brush over here. It might have, there, nope, that's not it. All right, let me get a different one. Okay, so I'm just going to take a liner brush and just do some little curly cues on his wings. Thinking that liner brush might be a little big. Changing my mind. I go with a little bit skinnier one. A little skinnier. Okay, let's just bring some little curly cues. There's one. Now let me see if I can get it to look anything like this one, like that one. I did water the paint down just a little bit. Okay, and come out on this side. All right, good enough. Then I'm going to put a little highlight just across his head. And just a little bit across his black stripes. Probably wouldn't hurt to put a little bit on the antennas just to help them show up a little better. Okay, and instead of little black dashes, I think I'm going to do white. That'll show up a lot better. And so we'll just do it like he was coming out of behind that flower. Now you can also, we can make his wings look like they're moving by putting the little comma strokes. Okay, let's get the bead up here. Okay, so we're gonna leave him be. No pun intended. Okay, now for the flower, let's just start putting some dots on there, and I'm going to use my large Dippin' Dotty. These things are still selling like crazy, by the way. Oh, but before we do that, we need to let's put a little bit of detail on these petals. So I'm going to get some black, and I'm going to go just on the side of each petal. I'm going to leave a little bit of room at the top for some dots. And all right, let's just go for it. And I need to go back over it because it's not covering completely. Because of the texture of the material. Okay, I'm going to do that on each one. And this one, I'm just going to come right over that seam. Go back the other direction. I'm going to add just a little bit of water to my brush. And this is just very whimsical. I'm starting down a little bit because I want to put some dots up here. You just have to kind of do it and don't really think about it. Just go for it. Now on wood, it would be a little bit easier to do this because you don't have the texture to deal with. Okay, now I'm going to come back the other way. And then we'll put the dots on. I keep hearing a noise. And I was trying to think, what is that? Is there somebody at the door? But I forgot I turned the dishwasher on. And it's just quiet enough that you forget that it's on. It just makes just enough noise that you think, okay, who's out there? We get a lot of salespeople that walk around out here. Rarely did we get that when we lived out in the country. Okay, one more. And we also need to do our little veins. Okay, I think that's good enough. Looks like I got some black right there. Let's see if it's still wet enough. Yes. So let's grab a baby wipe and get that wiped off. I always have baby wipes and a wet cloth when I'm painting. Lifesavers. Okay, like it never happened. Okay, let's take, remember the deep ochre that I mixed with that fabric medium? It's still good and wet. And we're going to do some of the little lines. Okay, so still good and wet in there, and it's been, what, 3 days? This is day 3. Okay, let's see if I want this long one. I think I do. Okay, we're just, remember that black is wet, so got to be careful. And I'm just making some lines, go straight up, and then out to the left and right. And you can also just make a lot of little lines there. I'm just going to curve them out. And if I do this without getting my arm in that black, it's going to be Unbelievable. I usually make the one going up straight a little longer. Okay, one more. Okay, I'm going to put the lid back on this because we may need it again in a minute. Okay, and let's do some, let's see, I think I want, y'all look at this cute little, let me raise you up a second here. This cute little bucket that my secret sister at church got me, full of fresh flowers. Isn't that adorable? I love it. And they smell so good. Okay, but I want to get a little bit of a creamy color. This is natural beige and it's Ceram Coat. Okay, Debbie, how do you purchase the Dippin' Dotties? If you will, in Messenger, send me a message with your email and your mailing address, then I will send you a payment request invoice. And as soon as that is paid, I can get them ordered for you. I'm completely out, sold out again. This is the 5th time I've sold out, but I have some more ordered and I should have them probably by the beginning or middle of next week. So if you will go ahead and do that because I have a waiting list. So in Messenger, if you want a set of those, they're $21. Right now, they're $21 per set plus tax and shipping and handling. So if you will do that, I will send you an invoice. Just send me a message in Messenger with your email and your mailing address, and I'll get you taken care of. They're really fun. I really do enjoy them. So far, I haven't had anybody that hasn't been pleased with them, which is a great thing. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on the palette because we're not going to use that much of it. And I want a little bit of the brown. I'm going to mix a little bit of that fabric medium in it. So it's about 2 parts paint to 1 part fabric medium. Mix it really well. And that should be good enough. You want it to where it just kind of moves. If you hold it up. Now this is the fabric paint, so I don't need to mix anything in it. And I'm going to get just a this is just a round mop brush. So I'm going to add a little bit of both colors. Okay, and we're just going to go a little bit here in the center. Okay, and then I'm just going to barely just tap it on and then just kind of soften it out. Okay, and then I'm just going to put that in my water. I'm going to take the black, and with the Dippin' Dotty pointed end. Make sure that string breaks. Gonna put a dot here. Still stringy when I'm making dots. So just make sure that that string breaks before you let go, or it'll get all over everything. Now remember, these dots are going to stay wet for a little bit. So don't run your arm across them. So do what I say and not what I probably will do. Now with the regular paint, you can just dot it and go on, but this fabric paint, I don't know what they've got in it that makes it so stringy. But before I realized that, I almost ruined a shirt that I was working on, but I was able to make it look like it was supposed to be there. All right, so I'm going to wash that off, because I don't want dry paint getting up on it, drying everywhere. And let's go ahead and do some, let's start with some brown dots. And we're just going to start dotting. And you have to be patient with it, because it is, I don't know if you can see that, how stringy it is. And sometimes I'll dip each time, and sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 dots, because every time you dot with the same, after you've loaded it, if you do it like 2 or 3 times, the dots are going to be a little bit different size. They'll get smaller and smaller as you go. And we need to put some dots on the end of our vein lines. We're going to do brown, white, and maybe a little bit of orange. And then I'm thinking about maybe putting some dotted flowers down here. And I'm getting it on the yellow and the black. And I don't want it to, I don't want a perfect pattern. I just want them scattered here and there. And it may be hard for you to see on this black with the brown, but it does show up good in person. Usually if you'll do a little circular motion with this paint, that string will let go. Do a little one there. And then when you start getting the other colors in, and then when you start getting the white dots in, it really makes it pop. But you could do so many different centers. You could do plaid, you could do check, you can do the cross hatch look. So many different ways you can do them. I got some small children's little bitty size 3 jackets the other day. I went hunting for them, And I think I'm going to do a dinosaur on one of them, and I got a little girls. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do tie-dye or if I want to put a unicorn on it. I may put a unicorn. Seems like little girls always like the unicorns. So y'all may be seeing me paint several jackets, but I still have several aprons to do also. So I'm trying to make some lower, some higher, because I don't want them all in a straight line. I'm getting black all over my arm from this line here. So like I said, do like I say, not like I do. Okay, now let's do some orange. Now, if you're used to painting really clean lines, what does the set include? Debbie, it includes this one that makes the large, typically you make flowers with it, but there's so many things you can do with them. This, I call it the large floral. And then the dots on the end are all about the same on them. And then here's a smaller floral. I've got a video, 2 or 3 videos back showing you how to use them. This one is a circle, and they make really great bubbles, or just a circle for you to fill in. Great flower centers. It just gives you an outline and then you fill it in. They're really a lot of fun. Most of my projects will have them on there. I've sold, I don't know, 80 or 90 sets. I don't remember. I've kind of lost count. Okay, so let's go in with the orange. I just picked up this one because I had it in my hand. Now the orange is stringy too, but it's also a lot more liquidy. Not near as thick. So I'm not sure why the different colors are different. I guess it's what it has to put, what they have to put in them to get the pigment. Now that's starting to brighten it up. I'm working on a new Dippin' Dotty design. I'm not sure if it's going to work out or not, so we'll see. You just don't want to let paint dry on them. So I always clean them right after I'm done with them. And I don't let them sit in water because it comes in 2 pieces, the handle and then the attachment, and they're glued. So you don't want that water to break down. Just like in your paintbrushes, if you leave them sitting in water too long, it'll break down your glue. They're actually made from corn. I don't remember the technical term, but they're made from corn. Okay. Now I think we need some, let me wipe that off, some white. Now the white's a lot thicker. And I'm also going to put white dots on the vein lines. You could use any of the colors. You can get styluses like this, daughters like these. I think this one came from the dollar store, Dollar Tree. It's got two different size rounds on the end. And then Hobby Lobby, I found these. Okay, let's get may do some red in here too. I'm not sure because I may do some red flowers down here at the end, at the bottom. Okay, let's just start up here and put a few white ones here and there. It just brightens everything up and makes the other colors stand out better. Now remember, these dots are little puddles of paint, so they don't dry fast like your flat painting does. They may look dry on the outside, but on the inside, they're still wet. And when you're drying them, you don't want to get the dryer too close, whatever you're using to dry with. And don't want to leave it just the heat sitting, blowing on it, because the dots will kind of cave in on you. This one is going to the craft show, either the craft show or the live event in Florida. Because I have got to get some things painted up for that. I don't have a lot done for that, so I've got to get busy. Okay, so I think I'm happy with those. Now let's put a few flowers down here using the Dippin' Dotty. The set speeds up the process compared to single style. Yes, it does. I'm glad you're happy with them. Yay. Do you use door hanger templates on any of your fabric? Yes. Yes, ma'am, I sure do. I just lay them down there and get a bright color, depending on the color of your fabric that you're using. I used the, on this one, on the B, I used yellow paper. What am I trying to think of? My mind just went totally blank. It's contagious. I was watching Erica Wallace today, or Tamara Bennett, and she couldn't get her words to come. Anyway, the paper that I traced it on, underneath. What is the name? All right, y'all help me. I've just gone brain dead right. What's the name of the paper that we trace with? This, whoops. This paper, I got it in yellow, but you can get it in gray, black, red, blue, white, any color, you know, that you want. And that's, I just put my pattern down and slide that under it very carefully, because you don't want it to come off all over your fabric. And that's what I trace it on if I'm not freehanding it. Okay, but let's put a few little, let's make us some grass maybe down here, or do I just want to do, let me just do some flowers down here. We can do some grass. I think that would look fine. Okay, so I'm gonna get, whoops, I gotta mix it up. I'm gonna mix it in this silicone. It's not gonna take much. Okay, so put that, and then I'm gonna put 2 parts. I mean, that was paint, so I'm gonna put 1 part of fabric medium, and it's real milky white. So I'm going to mix it until all I can see is my color. Okay, and then I'm going to clean it off on my paintbrush. And let's get just going to do kind of a grass background. Not so much blades of grass. We'll just do a little bit down here. Okay, this is just a stiff bristled old brush. And I'm just going to start flicking up some. Just to kind of look like grass. And we'll put some little flowers in there. And I may come back and put a little bit lighter color grass too, so that it shows up better. This is Hauser Medium Green. So this one, I'm just kind of planning it as I go. Okay, I got into that black a little bit on that dot. Okay, now I've got a lighter green, and it is fabric paint, so I'm just going to get it out on my palette. Not even going to clean my brush. Just going to dip right into it. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little more of that. Hauser Medium, and just dab into that lime green. Let's see what it's called. Yep, lime green. Okay, and that gives us a little bit of a grass background, a base to kind of put our flowers on. And let's get it good and dry. Yes, Gina, I got the graphite. Thank you. My brain was just gone. I got it off of Amazon, and I got yellow, white, red, blue, orange, gray, and black. Okay, I'm going to take a round brush and just kind of flick some more of that Hauser Medium Green. to look a little more like blades of grass. And I didn't know I was going to do this, or I might have done the big flower a little differently, but I think it'll be fun. Okay, let's get this good and dry. And remember now, these dots are still very wet around your flower, so you want to be careful with that. Instead of a bee, you could put butterflies, ladybugs. Okay, I think that's dry enough. Now let's do some orange flowers. See if my paint's still good and wet. Now, do I want to do the little flowers or the big flowers? I think we're going to do the smaller Dippin' Dotty. And make some small flowers. So I'm just dipping it in there and dotting it. It's going to look different on your wood. It'll be a lot cleaner on your wood. You have all the grain and everything in this fabric. Okay, and then I'm going to do just the opposite. I'm going to wash that off. And the way I clean these, I have a damp cloth here, and I just put it in between each rung and rub it good. And just make sure I've got all that paint off of it, because you don't want it drying with paint in it. And it's just clean as it can be. If you have to, you can use a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just a little bit, and a little toothbrush, or just some warm soapy water and a toothbrush, and kind of wipe it out if you get it too much in there. Okay, but now let's make just the opposite. Let's make some yellow flowers. Now watch how stringy that is. So you really have to make that paint come off. Now that doesn't have anything to do with the Dippin' Dotty, that's the fabric paint. Another thing you want to make sure when you're using these is that the paint doesn't stick from one post to the next and make a line across it. You want to make sure that it's a good clean break through there. Okay, let's put one more right there. Okay, now what I want to do, get that good and clean. It does take an extra minute to get that paint off. If you're a bad paintbrush mama and don't keep your brushes clean, this is going to be a step that you're going to have to make yourself do so you don't have paint all caked up in it. Okay, now for the centers, I'm going to do, let me think, do I want to do black centers for the yellow ones? I am going to add a little bit more to this one over here, just with the opposite end. I needed some more paint on that one. And looks like that one too. And with this fabric, it may soak in and you may want to add a little bit more. I like nice rounded dots. Okay, so let's go ahead with the orange. I'm going to do a yellow center. And then we could do an orange center in the yellow ones. Started to put black in the yellow ones to make them look like little sunflowers. So what would you do for the orange, for the yellow ones? Do you want a yellow center in them? An orange center in them, or black center? Which would you like? I'll let you choose. Now when you see me circling like that, it's because I'm trying to break that spaghetti string. Okay, so I'm just thickening some of these dots up where they've soaked into the fabric. I'm still playing with these and learning different things that I can do with them. I'm wanting to do like maybe a blue bonnet with doing several of these together. I don't know. There's so many things you can do. I don't have enough time to sit and just really sit down and play with them. Okay, so it's going to be orange or black. Either will look nice. They are. It just saves so much time. It's nothing genius, that I can't. I've seen before when I 30 something years ago, nearly 40 years ago, I had a couple of them from a company that went out of business, and they weren't just like this, but I wasn't able to find them anywhere. That company went out of business, and I've never been able to find any since. So this gentleman that has this special printer, I saw something he had made, and I thought, you know what? I bet he could make me one. I bet he could do it. So we've kind of gone into partnership, and I showed him what I wanted, and we kind of had a trial and error time where we made some protocols, and I would use them, and I go, no, that's not quite it yet. And so we finally got it like we wanted it, and I haven't got to play with them because I'm so busy filling orders for them, which is a great problem to have. Okay, and we could put I might put some little white flowers in here, or even just some little dots. Okay, so I think I am going to put just a few little white dots in here, just some small ones. I just think the white makes it, everything else show up. Okay. Let me turn it up here. Let me dry it just a little bit so I can kind of set those so they're not sliding around everywhere. You want to keep that dryer moving on them. You don't want to get them too hot. Just enough to set them. Okay, and then the other thing that I was going to do is have some coming out here. All right, I don't know if I can lift that up enough or not. There you go. Okay, I'm going to take my green, that Hauser medium green. Let's see if we've got some light green over here. I'm going to take the Hauser light green and make some little vines coming out there. So I'm going to mix again. Maybe this one's got some, looks like it's got some paint boogers in it. Let me grab another one. We've got some. Okay, so Hauser light green, and then one part fabric medium. Okay, see how white and milky it is right there? Just mix it up till all that white goes away. And it does not alter your color. Once that white goes away, you've got your true color back. Ooh, I see some sunshine trying to poke out there. Okay, so let's make just some little swirlies, and we'll put some flowers on the end of those. I needed something to fill up, the space over here. I just ran my brush across that. Okay, there we go. And let's make one come over here. No rhyme or reason. Just putting them where I think we need some filler. We're going to make this one kind of curve around. And then we'll put some little dots on the end of it. You might have to do a couple of coats. You could also mix some white in with it to kind of help it to show up. Okay, and we won't do it on every single petal probably. And I'm going to darken these little fly lines or lighten them. Okay, let me turn it around so I can kind of see where. And I should be able to hold it up here in just a minute for you. It should be dry enough. Okay, so we got one there. Let's have one here. Back the other direction. And let's do one right here. We'll make it kind of curve up. I gotta be careful and not get my arm in those little flowers because they are definitely not dry. Okay, so for these, we're going to put some little flowers on here, and let me think what color we want to do. Do we just want to do some orange ones? Okay, I think I'm going to do white with a little bit of the color in it. So I'll show you what I mean. Again, I didn't plan this, so I'm going to use my small one. And the tips are the same on, so it really wouldn't matter which one you use, so because I'm using the pointed end. And we're going to do some just kind of down the side of it. And then we'll put some different colors in there too. And that'll give us some filler in these little voided spaces. Typically on the sunflowers, I have petals in between these petals, but I didn't on this one. So it does need a little bit of filling in. I've got so many ideas that I want to paint on them. I think I want to do a patriotic one with a flag on it. I've got a pattern that I'd like to use. I'm just running out of time. I finally figured out what that noise is I keep hearing. It's a woodpecker out on our tree. I know what it is now. Okay, so got the white, but I want to go in with some of the colors. So let's do maybe a little bit of orange here. And I'll do some yellow. stringiness gets a little obnoxious. Okay, I'm going to turn it around. I think I'm going to put, see, I change my mind constantly as I go. I'm going to put both colors in these. Just felt my hand right here. Okay, let's put some orange. Okay, now let me turn it around. And we'll do these up here. So since I've already got orange on, go ahead and start with it. Yeah, they used to have a lot of different shapes a long time ago, and it just said my video was interrupted, so I hope y'all are still there. You used to could find all different shapes. Oh, I just wiped the orange off. I want them yellow. Anyway, so I decided for us to make these, and they've just been working out great. Come on, I go. Okay, let me get just a little more yellow out. That's just gotten really dry. It doesn't want to let go. Okay, last one. Okay, and I am going to put one more coat of the paint on the stalk or the vine. Add just a little bit of white into it. Okay, let me do that down here and then I'll hold it up. we need a little more vine. Yeah, I think we're done. Okay, let me put the dryer to it right quick before I hold it up. Got a little bit of black here. Where I had my arm in that. It's like I was getting a phone call. That's probably what made it. You have 6 new message notifications. That's probably for Dippin' Dotties. I'm telling you, the orders have been coming in like crazy today. That's wonderful. I'm excited. All right, let me get these set just a little bit more, then we'll hold it up. And I'll let it dry a couple of days, and then I'll put it in the dryer for about 10 minutes on high to heat set it. And then I'll put some Mod Podge. I'm liking this fabric Mod Podge that I put over it and a little bit under it. Let's see what you think. All right, can you see it? It's kind of hard, it's so big. And it looks shadowy. But that'll be pretty on somebody's back when you're walking behind them. And I've got it pretty folded in the back, so it'll have you know, more on the sides when it's opened up, but I don't want to risk that right now. But really, 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 I want you to give it a try on fabric. Like I said, go look in your old clothes, or go to Goodwill or thrift shop or somewhere where you can get something really inexpensive to paint on. Get some shirts, some different types of fabric, some denim, some cotton, like t-shirts, sweatshirts. Those are really good to practice on. Take whatever pattern you have, whatever you normally use as a pattern on wood or whatever you paint on. Same thing. Just take that pattern and transfer it onto here using that graphite paper. I remembered it this time. Graphite paper, and just put your pattern down, slide that graphite paper under it. Just don't slide it across your fabric. You don't want it smearing all over your fabric. So just be careful. Just lift it up, put the paper under it, and then hold it down, tape it or hold it, and trace your pattern on. I usually use, when I'm doing it that way, I'll use a stylus to do that, the round part of the stylus, because it's not going to tear through my paper. But you can also just freehand on. We used a center of something that had a round hole in it, and that's what we used to kind of get our placement for our center. This is a door hanger one that I did, and it's a pattern. It's a door hanger pattern, but you could certainly just, you know, trace around. If you have a wooden one, just trace around it on here with chalk or something like that. there's just so many different ways to get it on there. Don't be afraid of it. You know, I would just start out with, if you've already got acrylic paint, just use some of this fabric painting medium. And I got this for $6.79 at Hobby Lobby. I think it was actually on sale when I got it. But it's fabric painting medium, and this is Deco Art, but I know there are other brands out there too. This has lasted me forever. I've had this probably, I don't know, maybe I just went and bought this one because I just ran out of my other one, and I'd had it for at least a year and a half to 2 years. But I did all of those 100 and something hats. I used a lot of it. So, because I had a lot of colors that were, the fabric paint didn't have the colors I wanted. So I was using just my regular acrylic paint and adding that to it. And so it is so much fun. You can paint on blue jeans or any kind of jeans, but I mean pants, you know, on pants, on like bell bottoms and things, or down the sides of bell bottoms. Canvas bags, tennis shoes, you know, canvas shoes, you can paint on those the same way that we did this. And, oh, I don't know, all kinds of tote bags and sweatshirts and t-shirts and towel. Well, I don't know about towels. If they were like the tea towels, the canvasy towels, you could probably paint on those. But so many different things that you can paint on. That's so much fun. This weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, next Saturday, I'm having the paint party here at my house. And the ladies are going to be painting the tissue box covers. They're going to be covering those with, we're going to paint them and then Mod Podge napkins on them. We'll be painting the tops of them. And then we're going to be practicing shading and highlighting, and that's called floating. So we're going to be painting, I'm not going to tell them what we're going to do because it's going to be, I want it to be kind of a surprise. And I've been putting together some goodie bags for them. So I hope we're going to have a good time. Don't know what the weather's going to be doing, but we'll be inside, so it doesn't matter. So that party did sell out. So I'm going to have a house full of ladies here in a week from this Saturday. So I'm very excited about it. Okay, so I want you to try this. If you try it on fabric, post a picture in here of what you have done. I want to see what you've done. If you've painted on some fabric, if it's your first time or 100th time, I want to see one thing that you've done. You've said you've painted that door hanger at SA Live in Dallas a few years ago. Yes, you did, Debbie. I was the one that taught it. I was the teacher of that class. Yes. Sunflowers never go out of style. They just never. Whatever I take to a show that has sunflowers on it sells every time. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's got sunflowers on it, it sells. So they just seem to never go out of style. And there's so many different ways that you can do them. So, okay, ladies, that is it for me. I've got to get ready for our church event. We'll go see probably about 130, 140 kids, all worshiping God and singing songs and eating together. And so I am excited about it. So you'll have a wonderful weekend. You mean so much to me, and I appreciate you hopping on here every time. Don't forget to sprinkle out the video. And if you're interested in a set of Dippin' Dotties, again, send me a message in Messenger with your email address and your mailing address so that I can send you an invoice for payment. And hi, Brenda, and get those ordered for you. We've got another big order coming in next week. I've sold out completely. But if you go ahead and get your payment in, then you will be, I'll just go down the list, whoever's, first come, first serve. So I will get those out just as quickly as we can. Again, thank you so, so much. I appreciate every one of you. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.